Every week of the season, I have been showing you guys what a 12-team playoff would look like based off of my rankings and the College Football Playoff Committee rankings based on the current rules that we have for 2024. However, Briggs brings up a good point that we need to address. The college football landscape is going to look drastically different in the 2024 season versus the 2023 season. I mean, just looking at this graphic, 4 teams to the 12 on here will be in a different conference next season. Texas will be playing in the SEC, Washington, Oregon will be in the Big Ten, and Oregon State will probably go to the Mountain West. Which in the current rules, if you didn't know, they are proposing that 6 conference champions and 6 at-large teams will make the playoff. Now, something that went under the radar last week with all the Michigan stuff is that they announced a proposed change to change it to 5 conference champions and 7 at-large teams, which I think is the right thing to do. However, my hot take with the future of the 12-team playoff is that we have to acknowledge there needs to be some SEC and Big Ten bias for selecting the teams that can go to the college football playoff. Like, I'm sorry, but if it came down to a 9-3 Michigan versus a 10-2 Utah team in the Big 12, I'm taking Michigan every day of the week. Going forward, there will be the Tier 1 conferences, which are just the Big 10 and the SEC, and the Tier 2 conferences, which are the ACC and the Big 12. And the Big 10 and SEC teams will play significantly harder schedules, which is why they should be rewarded for it. Now, for perspective, I took the exact same top 25 I had, and I just applied it to conference rankings, and this is how it looks. So immediately you see how this changes everything. In my top 25, I would technically have Oregon State as my 4th highest conference champion if they were the eventual champion of the Mountain West. And I would have Utah as my highest ranked Big 12 team, so they get in the 12-team playoff here. And just counting up all the at-large bids plus the conference champions, there's 8 teams from the SEC and the Big 10 here, which would further my argument. So while we could see some non-conference champions from some lesser conferences like Louisville in the playoffs next year, it's just going to make it a harder path.